If you're planning to move to Australia in the next 6 months, or you just landed and you're already feeling overwhelmed, I'm about to save you making the 10 mistakes that I see every new migrant make, or every international student that comes to Australia, they make it. And trust me, some of these will cost you thousands of dollars. And before we actually go, let me introduce myself. My name is Miki, and I came from a farming village in Punjab. With just a suitcase, I started my international student journey back in Singapore 2018 with no plan. I made probably, I think, 8 of these mistakes myself. So this video isn't theory. I would say these are battle scars. And if you watch this, you won't have to earn them the hard way. So, number one, that is very, very common, and it is arriving with less money than you actually need. Now, think about this, right? Most migrants, they think they need probably $3,000 to $5,000 to start. And I'm talking about dollars, $3,000 to $5,000. They're drastically wrong. Here's what actually happens in your first month. I'm going to give you a reality check. You land here day one and you need accommodation. A single room in a shared house, kind of like you get on average from $200 to $300 per week. That's $1,200 just for first month, and that's the cheapest option that you can easily find in 2026. Then you need a phone plan. Obviously, that will roughly cost you around $50. A transportation card, or fuel for a car if you got a car or something, that is another $100. And also you need to consider groceries. You gotta have at least $300 minimum. And if you are obviously now living in a room, even though it's a share room or whatever, you gotta have furniture as well, because you can't live on a mattress on the floor. If you can't, that's perfectly fine. I've done that. You can do that as well, and that's gonna cost you roughly $500. A uniform or work clothes, if you get a job immediately, that would just cost you $200, because sometimes high vest, the PP is very important here. But if you're getting some trade jobs and stuff, like your steel shoes, boots, a good quality, I'm not talking about those you just buy from anywhere like cheaper, $50-$60, and then after 2 months you have to buy a new one. No, if you want to get there something that could last you for like years, or depends on how harsh you put them in, harsh conditions I'm talking about, then you gotta spend a bit more money to get a right one. And in visa processing delays, you have unexpected expenses as well. Sometime initially, like you just come in here, there could be some other unknown expenses that could have attached along with your visas. You might have to pay. Let's just expect them, because I expected them, so I had to pay about like $1,500 at that time. So you could have some sort of other expenses as well that you cannot expect, but these are the ones that you can actually expect. So what I'm trying to say here, by week 3 you've spent $2,500 and you haven't earned a dollar yet. Yeah. So the thing is, before your first check comes in, you kind of have already spent 2.5k. And likelihood is, like, if you don't have a job, it's very fast that you're gonna burn your $5,000 within just first few months. And on an average, it goes like 5k to 7k, because you're not just like ready to start your life. You have to start it from scratch here in a new country. Yes, you've already paid for your tuition fee, you've already paid for all the expenses that are related to your education, but how about living in here? That also costs money. So finding a job is also another priority that you need to keep an eye on. So here's what you should actually do. I would say save $10,000 minimum, not $5,000, $10,000. And that gives you a 3-month buffer without panicking. But if you don't have that saved, delay your move. That's what I would suggest. I'm serious here, because this isn't like something you figure out as you go. You kind of have to plan it, or you will fail. Now, mistake number 2 that everyone would make it, and I've made by myself, thinking your degree means anything here. Now, you have a master degree, which is great. You're an engineer, great. An accountant, very, very great. Oh, like good. A doctor back home, could be, congratulations. In Australia, it's a nice piece of paper that nobody cares about. I've seen doctors driving Ubers, engineers, they're working in warehouses. Accountants, they are the one stacking shelves at Coles or Woolworths. Not because they are not smart, because Australian employers don't recognize their qualifications. It's not fair, it's just how it works. Okay, so your degree gets you here until it's assessed and recognized by Australian standards. And that assessment, brothers, that costs money as well. It sometimes takes like months, and there is no guarantee that they will approve it. So here's what I want to tell you. That's a real talk. In your first year, forget your degree. Your job survival or your job is the main hope that you can have as a survival. Warehouse work, hospitality, delivery, security. These are the jobs that you're getting, okay? Not because you are not qualified for others, but because you need Australian experience and Australian references. One migrant I know, let me tell you, was a manager back home. He was just some sort of manager in managerial position in government job back in India. He worked at McDonald's for 6 months in Australia here. Not because he wanted to, because it gave him local experience and a local reference. And you need references here. That was my mistake, that I didn't build up my references. You need references. So after 6 months, he switched into a proper role and never looked back. So here's the lesson, brothers. Your degree is a long-term asset. Your short-term asset is willingness to do whatever it takes. Now, mistake number 3. And it is not understanding your visa conditions. Very common mistake. This one actually literally could cancel your visa if you mess it up. So, if you're a student, you can work 48 hours per fortnight during study periods, not 50, not 49, 48, okay? And a fortnight is 14 fixed days. I'm talking about 7 days, mix of 2 weeks, okay? So 14 days. It does not reset based on when you feel like working. I've seen students they lose their visa because they worked 52 hours in a fortnight and thought it was fine because they worked less the next week. It doesn't work that way, brothers. You're on a skilled work visa. If you are on that kind of visa, you can work, I believe, in your nominated occupation, not side gigs, not just helping a friend out, only your designated job. If your enrollment changes, you defer a semester, drop a subject, switch courses, you might breach your visa conditions without even knowing it. So here's what I want to tell you that you can actually do. The day you arrive, log into Vivo, which is Visa Entitlement Verification Online. And it's a free tool. You can just go on Australian Home Affairs website, also type it on Google, you can easily find it. Read your exact conditions, screenshot them if you have to, and put them in your phone notes, okay? Refer to them consistently, time to time. Just remember them, memorize them. I don't know, man, you just gotta do it. So if you are unsure about anything, a job change, a course change, extra hours, email your university or a migration agent if you're engaging with one. Don't guess. Guessing costs you a visa. And this isn't like paranoia, I'm telling you. This is survival. It's very, very non-negotiable that you just can't mess with. Don't take it lightly. Because Australia have high standards. Once you get into immigration radar, bro, you're gone. Okay, mistake number 4, blowing your money on a lifestyle instead of building stability. So you came from a country where everyone was struggling. Now you're making, let's just say, $30 an hour, more money than you have ever made in your whole life, and suddenly everything feels affordable. Whether you talk about like a $5 coffee or a $15 lunch, or let's just say $100 night out with friends, new clothes, a car upgrade. These feel small compared to what you're actually earning. Except they're not small. They add up to $800 to $1,200 every month that you're just burning. You know, most migrants, they go broke not because they don't make enough money, but because they spend everything they make. You feel like you deserve nice things, okay? Because you worked hard to get here. So you buy them. That's kind of like the mindset, right? And then you have nothing saved. Again, I'm telling you, I know my fellas, okay? They make $70,000 a year. Who are broke now. And I know others making $50,000 with $30,000 in saving. So what's the difference here, right? It's one track. So one individual, he tracks his money, okay, and the other one just doesn't. Like, it's all about having a budget in place. That's what I always talk about. So here's what you can actually do. I'm gonna give you a system. Week 1, track every single dollar for 30 days. Every coffee, every meal, every Uber if you take it. Write it down. It's painful, but it's necessary. It's very important. Now week 2 to 4, that's what you're gonna do. Look at where your money is actually going. You'll be shocked. I'm telling you, most migrants waste $300 to $400 a month on subscriptions they forgot about. That includes apps they don't use anymore and food they don't need. So from month 2 forward, automate 20% of your income into savings before you spend anything else. Now don't see it in your account. It goes straight to your savings, out of sight. Okay? Out of mind, out of sight. That's the way. Saving account, straight up. Now cut one spending category completely for the first 3 months. Now that could be probably eating out for lunch. Just cut it completely. Not everything, just one. That's what I'm talking about. So if you're eating out every day, cut eating out and cook instead. Meal preps, that's very good and healthy as well. So you will kind of save $200 to $300 immediately. Bro, that's how I've done. That's how everyone has done. Now there's some music on. Let me just close that. Sorry, fellas, sorry. So after 3 months, you will have $1,500 to $2,000 saved. That's your emergency fund. And then you build from there. So I'm gonna give you a truth here. So you didn't come here to have the same broke life you had back home. You came here to build something. And that means discipline now, freedom later. So there are so many things that you have to do. Mistake number 5, isolating yourself instead of finding your community. Brothers and sisters, you're in a new country. Everyone speaks English here, but they're not your people. And I get it. And this loneliness will destroy your mental health if you let it. Week 1 is gonna feel very, very exciting. Week 3 feels kind of manageable. Yes, you can manage it. Week 6, start to feel empty. You're working, you're studying, but on Sunday night, you're alone in your room and you feel like, bro, I'm just in my cycle, like day-to-day basis, I've got no life at all. And this kind of things, like, you know, they hit very, very different. So then we kind of like start to miss our family. We miss, like, you know, all the inside jokes nobody here understand. Like, there's so many things, bro. You will feel that slight change happen in your life as well. So you kind of start to miss people who knew you, like People just who knew you, like you kind of miss them. And let me tell you something, Australians are polite. They'll say hello if you say hello. They'll chat with you at work, but they won't invite you home. They won't check on you. So you can't complain to them because they don't understand the sacrifice you made. I've seen mentally strong people break under this loneliness. I've been through that. But it's also like a journey, and then you build on top of that. Not because they are weak, all these strong people, because humans, we need community. So here's what actually can help. Find your people in the first 30 days. Not in 30 weeks. I want you to go, I don't know, there's so many platforms these days. Just do that. Within 30 days, find your people. Go to your religious centers if you have to. Sikh temple, Gurdwara Sahib, mosques, temple, church, whatever. Go to Facebook groups for your community. Show up. Join a hobby group or a sports team. I don't know, bro. Something. Just do join something where a lot of other people from your community, they hang around. I'm telling you, if you can, just go to Sikh temple or Gurdwara Sahib on your second week or your just first week, whatever. You will find people there. You just need to have that courage of introducing yourself and telling them, hey, brother or sister, hey, just approach brothers if you're brother. Sisters approach sisters. I am new in here and kind of looking for friends. Bro, our people, you know our community. Everyone knows their community. Go engage with them. Offer your help, volunteer if you got some time on plate. Just do that. I'm telling you, your Australian friends are great, but they can't replace community. So I would say build both. You need Australian people as well, because they also need to know how other communities live. That's how they start trusting on other communities. So don't just completely neglect, like, I don't want to be friends with Australian. No, they're great people. They just don't understand your culture yet. That's the thing.